So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at the NRB 2025, and I have another guest that I am going to be speaking to. I want to share with you Eyal Freiman. He is the Deputy Head Archaeological Staff Officer. That's a huge title.
Yes, it is.
Huge title to live up to. But no, this is important. The work that you're doing is so important. Here in the United States, there's a huge movement right now to adopt the term Judea and Samaria in state governments, local governments, of course, the federal government, to make sure that we're not changing the narrative. We're trying to get Christians around the world to realize that the West Bank isn't in their Bible, but Judea and Samaria is.
That's so true. The West Bank is a term being given by the Jordanian. That's why it's in the west, in the west of Jordan. The West Bank is not in the west for Israel, it's in the east. And it's basically Judea and Samaria. It's a place of the kingdom of Judea and the kingdom of Israel. That the capital of it was in Samaria, like the ancient Samaria.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this the other day. I was reading this resolution that's floating around to several of the state legislators. And Judea and Samaria, Judah being where Jerusalem is located, Samaria being where the capital of the kingdom of Israel, or the nation of Israel, the 10 northern tribes.
That's
Samaria
true.
was their capital.
Exactly.
So we have these two different entities. Most Christians really, I find, don't connect the dots. They understand Judea and Samaria, but they don't understand the location is the capital of the northern tribes and the southern tribes.
Exactly. Judea basically is from Jerusalem south all the way to Beersheba area.
Right.
Include Hebron, one of the major cities in the Bible, mentioned in the Bible. And Samaria is one of the most interesting area with so many sites from biblical time, from first temple to second temple, where Jesus walked. When Jesus came down from Nazareth to Bethlehem, so he didn't go through Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
He went all the way through Samaria, entered Judea, all the way to Bethlehem. And also Maria, when she came to give birth in Bethlehem, that's a path that she made, the path going through all those sites. And we have remarkable also Christian sites, first temple sites,
Right.
of the Israelite kingdoms, both Judea and both Samaria kingdoms, the Israel kingdoms. And also the heritage of not only Jewish heritage, also Christian heritage.
That's right.
With churches
Yes.
and a lot of places, tradition to Johanan the Baptist, and where Jesus walked or where he made this ceremony. It's intriguing, really it is.
So this is an amazing time for the issue of reclaiming Judea and Samaria as the official titles of the nation of Israel, the full nation, all 12 tribes. So what was the inspiration behind this? Why now? Is it because President Trump now is the president, and after all the wonderful things he did for Israel with moving the embassy to Jerusalem and declaring the Golan Heights as part of Israel's territory? What is it that inspired the Judea and Samaria?
Well, of course, it's part of it. All the wind, like the backwind that Trump gives to Israel administration,
Right.
is so important. And finally, people have the courage to stand up and say, I don't live in the West Bank. I live in ancient Judea. I live in the places of ancient Samaria. And it's so important for us to be back linkage to that heritage of ours, and not just be living there as a political statement, but living there as we live in the past and obtaining our birthright to go and live where our ancestors lived. And that's where it was. All the other places, all the Tel Aviv and the area there of Netanya, Haifa, it used to be swamps before the Israel state was developed. So all the ancient settlements are on the mountains, and that's Judea and Samaria. And that's what it is. It's Judea, where Judea kingdom is, and Samaria, where there's so many to tell about Samaria and the ancient Israel kingdom of Samaria.
That's fantastic, because archaeology is an important component to making the case. In fact, in our documentary, Israel Indivisible, the case for the ancient homeland, we make the historical, the archaeological, the legal, and biblical argument for Israel's rights to her ancient homeland. And it's amazing that you are now pursuing this, and this issue is becoming front and center in the governments of the world. Are there other countries who are taking on this issue of instead of using the term the West Bank, which is not accurate, and instead using Judea and Samaria? Are there other countries that are getting behind this effort as well, or is it just here in the United States we see the movement?
There are some movements in different countries in Europe, but it's not an administrative decision like here in the US. Mm-hmm. It's nothing like a stamp making sure that that's the name of the area.
Right.
And it really is important to change the narrative. Mm-hmm. It's important to understand what the true narrative is.
Yes.
Again, when you say the West Bank, you're referring to a narrative that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And it never was existed. It existed for a blink in history. And in archaeology, what we have, we connect history to where you can touch history, then you can see history. And we can see the side, the archaeological side, the heritage side that we excavated. And now we develop, and we accessible now to all public to come and see. So you see where you are, where you're at, where you stand, where you look. You stand in the same place where Abraham stood. You stand in the same place where Jacob and where they put Joseph down in the hole. And where are those places? That's Judea and Samaria. That's why those ancient kingdoms were grown from that area. That's a heritage. So it's really important to change the narrative and go back to the foundation of all of us.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is so important, especially to have an understanding of the geography of the land of Israel and how that applies to the Bible. This is why PJTN's focus is to educate Christians about our biblical duty to stand with Israel and the Jewish people against the rise of global anti-Semitism. They have tried for years, 75 years, to try to change the narrative of who has legitimate rights to the land. And ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Eyal. He is working to preserve the archaeological evidence in his work with his ministry. And so, Eyal, is there anything else you want to share with our audience today? And how can they learn more about the amazing work that you're doing?
Well, first of all, to learn, the best way is to come and visit us and make a tour. And when you come and travel Israel, don't just travel Israel and where it's convenient to ask to come to and see Judea and Samaria, see the sites, breathe the air of Judea and Samaria and feel the ground of it. It's really important. I also want to say that now, because of everything you just said, that not everybody accepts the fact that Judea and Samaria, it's hard for us at archaeology to publish our research. And we actually have a lot of research doing because we excavate in a lot of sites all along Judea and Samaria, top to bottom. And there is now a boycott that doesn't allow us to publicate most of the research. So most of the research has been hid. And nobody knows. Like today I had a talk with somebody that he's fluent with history. He knows all about it. And I said, guess how many coins from Bar Kokhba rebellion had been found in Judea and Samaria? He said, I don't know. He said, of course you don't know. Because nobody published it because they wouldn't let him. And that develops for ignorance. And it's not for the benefit of anyone, basically. Because if you exhibit a site and you didn't publish it, who benefits from it? Nobody. Nobody can know what it is. And I'm not just talking about Jewish heritage or Christian heritage, even Muslim heritage. If you can publish it, so the person is the edge, he doesn't know about it and he can't be related to it. And it's not my heritage. It's all of ours. And it's really becoming a problem now as a part of this fight to acknowledge this place of Judea and Samaria and to acknowledge the research being done there and to acknowledge the archaeology that brings history to life.
Absolutely. It's so important, no matter where you are on the planet, to tell the correct story. And Israel's story has not been represented well, and that's why PJTN exists, to make sure the story of Israel's rights to our ancient homeland are told, are spoken around the globe.
It's so important. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us and telling us about the amazing work that you're doing. We wish you Godspeed in everything that you do. Thank you
so much.
so much.
Thank you.